apart from the people I just spoke to, so yeah, all right. Thank you. Now put your feet together. Just all of you, just close your eyes for me. So there is something here in this room. There is something here. And as I talk to you now, I want you, whatever you imagine there, whatever that spirit is, just to feel it in this room and feel it like a pressure moving into you. Moving into you around your heart, your chest and your shoulders, against your face and your eyes. And as I talk to you, I want you to feel that moving into you. And not to fight it, but to welcome it and to embrace it and to allow it to move you in whatever way. And as I talk to you, just let that get stronger, let that feeling get stronger and stronger. And really feel it now just moving into you, moving into you. One at a time, just feeling it right, just embrace it, just let it fall in. Good. Do you believe in God now? Yes, nice and clear. Do you believe in God? Be honest.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Be honest with me, all right? Be honest with me. Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, very much so.
Do you believe in God?
There is something.
There is something. Do you believe in God?
He doesn't believe in God.
And you?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, that's the video, and if you're seeing that for the first time, I'm sure you find it quite impressive. So let's go through that again, step by step.
Will he endorse me? My name's James Lawrence. None of you will know me. You wouldn't know me if you were British either.
So first of all, Derren begins by breaking the ice a little bit. Which will be the start of his rapport building between the participants and himself. If you want someone to respond to conversational hypnosis and persuasion, which Derren is going to be doing, it has to be done by making their unconscious mind taking in the information and making sure they are not consciously processing the information. So this means that the person's opinions or decisions are being influenced without them being aware of it. On a daily basis, we are all persuaded to do things, and also our opinions are altered without us even realizing it, which is all done on an unconscious level. A good example of this is when you meet someone for the first time, and for no particular reason, you seem to like or dislike that person. And when you think about it, you can't actually figure out why you have this feeling about them. Also, a good example of unconscious persuasion is when we buy a product, and then after some time you wonder to yourself why you bought it in the first place, because you don't actually need it. So as people, we break the ice so we can gain some rapport with the other person or the other people. And rapport is the most vital part for any fluid human interaction, especially when you are trying to make someone do something or persuade them. In this case, for Derren, it's going to help him to reduce the defense mode of the person's critical mind. The critical mind is a firewall for the human mind, and it makes our unconscious mind either defensive or suggestive to what is being read by our senses. So for example, if we feel that someone is trying to persuade us to do something and we realize it, okay, automatically we will become defensive and reject the other person's statement or action or anything that they are trying to do to us. So as we go through this video, just take a quick look at Derren's appearance, how he is dressed. So there's a reason why he's dressed this way. People react differently to people who are wearing uniforms or wearing some kind of formal clothing, because uniforms usually show a level of importance and or authority for people. And naturally, these are the people that we should trust or follow and do what they say. For example, a doctor or a policeman. So this is a very important aspect of what is happening here. And also Derren's body language also blends in very well. He stands there very confidently and shows a very has a very strong presence about him in the room.
The people you see here responded to an advertisement to come to a discussion on spirituality. They're almost all atheists and non-believers. I shall convert them with just a touch.
So here Derren is going to reduce the self-bias of the girl who is sitting in the front row of the audience. And once he does this, that will then cause her to second think or question her own views. And this will cause her to see where people with the opposite views are coming from. And this will cause her to have a feeling of doubt, and that will be just the right amount to make her more acceptive and less certain about her own opinions. She will then be less likely to want to give a yes or no answer to Derren's question that he asks her in a moment. So at this point, going through her mind as she thinks about her own opinions, she maybe has the thought of something like, well, nothing is 100% certain.
You don't believe in anything? I mean, are you kind of like...
Yeah, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in angels, I don't believe in, guardian angels, fairy godmother.
Derren begins to start reducing her self-bias straight away, and does this by saying, so you don't believe in anything? So this suggests that she's not a very open person. And he says, so you were kind of like, as I was. So he's trying to bond with her a little and show her that there is a possibility of another argument, as I had your views and now I've switched over and accepted, the other side of the argument. Listen for Derren saying, I don't really believe in those things either. And that will also be for the same reason. And also it creates some rapport between them as well. So they have something in common between them both. And it's showing that they are alike and share the same views. At the same time, I'm sure Derren, off camera in this frame, is mirroring, copying her facial expressions. At the same time, he copies her laugh as well. He has the same pitch, the same speed. He does it very subtle, but it's enough for her unconscious to pick up on this.
Ghosts, relatives coming back from, the dead to give you, special messages to make you feel better.
I really don't believe in those things either, but
everyone in my family was a different sort of religion. My grandmother was devout Catholic. My grandfather was Protestant. My mother was Mormon. And all those things tried to get forced on me, and I just never, I don't know.
But then just be honest, okay?
At this point, Derren goes from just being relaxed and calmly asking her about her opinions, about what she believes, and then he suddenly snaps into a voice with a sound of authority. Along with this, he tells her to just be honest. So he does that with a voice of authority. He says, okay, just be honest, just be honest. And then she replies in agreement by saying, So the instruction, just be honest, has more to it than it may seem. So here Derren plays with the psychological aspect that we have grown up to react in certain ways to particular phrases, particular sentences. Think about when you were young and your parents may have been angry with you for doing something wrong, something that you did wrong. They questioned you about this, and then you began to tell them that you 100% didn't do it. You say, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's the other person's fault, I 100% didn't do it. And then your mother or father tells you, just be honest, just be honest. And they do the same thing with the voice of authority. And once they say this to you, you automatically change your response to, well, maybe it was my fault a little bit. It was my fault, maybe just a little bit. So that's how we have grown up, knowing how to respond to this kind of question or instruction. So here, Derren is not just so much saying to her, just be honest. This is mostly just to inject that feeling into her, the feeling that we feel when we hear this phrase. It's that emotion that we have ingrained in ourselves from our childhood. And that's the emotion that Derren wants to give her at this point. So this feeling makes us question ourselves, and it creates a feeling of doubt as well. And that's the feeling he wants to give her right now. The actual touch that Derren gave her is done to add intensity to what is happening. And it also gives her the right amount of time to let her create that feeling of doubt by asking herself internal questions. An added little extra to this is the placebo effect, which is where she will think that something was done, so something must have happened.